Okay. So, one of the types of content that we can get into is website-based content. And you would normally create your website-based content through your website if you're using Squarespace, Wix, Card, or WordPress. And one of the biggest ones is blog posts. And your blog posts are something that are usually housed right on your website. And this is something where, if we're talking about branding, it's actually going to be kind of your writing voice that is going to come across to people, that people are going to start to recognize how you write. Do you write really clinically, or do you write in a very laid back manner? Do you write very academically? And people will search that content. And important things to remember for when you're writing blog posts, there's things such as SEO, which is search engine optimization, to learn about. And that's a big topic, but really it means including words that people search frequently for in your blog posts. So as a music therapist, I'm going to say music therapy in my blog posts, and that will actually help people find my content. And that's what we want, is people to find our content. So kind of learning about some of these tips and tricks will really help people to, whether they're typing into Google of music therapy intervention ideas, they're going to be able to find it if you're using those phrases within your blog post. Another thing in your blog post is tags. And those are just little things such as music therapy intervention ideas, music therapy session ideas. So we use Google all the time. And really, I think this is what we're typing in tags, is typing in, if you wanted to find your content, what would you type into Google, and typing that into your tags section. This again helps people find your content when they are using search engines and when they're looking for similar content online. Another web-based content is informative downloads. So this can look like a lot of different things. If you're doing a blog post, sometimes you add downloadable content right within your website. So for example, if you have a chord chart for a song that you wrote with attached lyrics and you wanted to share that, then you could put that would be housed right in your website, and you would link to that in your website. And we'll talk a little bit later about creating visuals like that. You can create those visuals you could do them very simply in Word, but you can also do them in places like Canva, where you can brand them by using your logo and the colors that you use and the fonts that you use as well. So course content, this is a bigger version of blog posts and informative downloads. If you are housing courses on your website, you would probably want these in a separate area, not really under your blog post, but you would create a new space for them in your website. And your course content would most likely include larger files of informative downloads. So maybe it's an ebook or an e-workbook, and videos or something like that. And again, those are all things that can be branded with your logo. You can add all of your information on there so people, again, recognize it as soon as they see it. Even something like the image of your course content, you're going to want to match your branding so people see that image somewhere and they know immediately, oh, hey, this is so-and-so stuff, and I know exactly what I'm getting into. People really like expectations when it comes to visual content, and they really like to know what they're getting into. So those are important things to remember when you're making any of this website-based content. Now, we're not going to go into podcast content on your website, because a lot of podcasts are hosted right on a website, but you can also host them in many different places. However, if you want to learn more about podcasts, we have an entire cranny dedicated to podcasts. So you can go there and learn more information there.
Yeah. And another thing I want to mention in addition to this is if you are developing a website or putting stuff on a website, these hosts like Squarespace, Wix, and Card often have templates. So it's not like you're going to have just a blank page and you have to learn how to code in HTML and everything. And there are also some of them you can do for free, but there's also, if you want to get a little bit more fancy, if you want to host more things and connect it to an email, so if people have any questions, that costs a little bit more, and also to connect to a domain so that It's your website, not just your website.wix.com, it's your website.com. So there might be some upfront costs depending on what you're looking for with a website. But all these websites, they have the templates and they have the function in order for you to just make the PDF and upload it, and then people can download it from there.
There is, for WordPress, something really cool that goes along with that. They just released it's like called a block design, and they've made basically making your website and creating blog posts very, very simple. You drag and drop everything, and it's
Nice.
so user friendly. So it's really not intimidating once you start to get the ball rolling with the website, for sure.
Awesome.